Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Psychic Tarot Show, coming to you live on the Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channels every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome, welcome. I'm feeling so much empathy for many of you in different parts of the world that are on the front line of crisis at this time. Just noticing here, hi Rachel from Los Angeles, California, doing deep healing with frequency music. And our thoughts and prayers are with you, Rachel. So much good healing work to be done in that area of the world. Also seeing so many of you tuning in, Ireland, Devon, UK, Ottawa, the Netherlands, England, Western Washington, Alberta, New York. Welcome, 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 everyone. Isn't it so extraordinary? I mean, I saw something last week, if you remember. I said that it felt like there would be some sort of major event that would be similar to our 9/11 tragedy, and that it would cause that much awakening and bring forward so much media coverage and so many unanswered questions. And I actually even said I felt like it was something in like inside a building exploding or something of that nature. Right as I was saying that is when the Los Angeles fires were really ramping up. And so it leaves open the option of speculation around what was the cause of the fires. Of course, we know there's a whole variety of different perspectives. And my deepest intuition says there's probably some truth in a lot of them. However, the larger takeaway for me feels like this has brought such a huge overview, open-ended conversation out into the general public. And for that reason, I'm really grateful that we are finally at a turning point like this. However, the tragedy is so devastating, and I really am with you all, those of you that have loved ones, friends, and family in that area that have had tremendous loss. So, saying all of that, we're also on almost the eve of the inauguration ceremony. So here in North America, particularly in the US, things are really, really activated. And I'm assuming we're going to have a look at a lot of that in our overview for this week. So before I go ahead and start that process, of course, as always, I would like to remind you, please like, share, and subscribe right over here on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel, or you can follow us on Rumble, coming to you live, Beyond Mystic Rumble. And you can book a session with me right here. I'm finding it. There it is. Right here on the Beyond Mystic Consultations page. And I am taking bookings next week. And I'm still doing annual overviews in my readings at this time. So if you book a session with me right now, you can receive a month-to-month overview of what the upcoming year looks like, in addition to asking your questions. All right, so let's go for it. I, for one, am very, very curious about what's going to come forward this week. And like I said earlier, you know, it's pretty powerful, this prophetic work that I do and Janine does. And I don't want to be right sometimes. And yet it does feel important that we have a look at things, even if they are really concerning. So let's go ahead and look at what this week has in store. So we're beginning with a beautiful, beautiful card. The Spiritual Warrior is our first card. Knight of Wands, the spiritual warriorship. So it is taking up the cause, coming at life this week in full, I want to say almost like our regalia, like wearing our colors proud, whatever they mean by that. I mean, obviously, if you're attending the inauguration, you're wearing your colors proud. For those of you in different parts of the world, wherever you're asked to show up, and it's very similar to last week in the sense of really speaking your truth and showing up, letting your true colors shine. And then we have in the house of our security, our stability, our money and resources. Well, this is overcoming each of the hurdles individually that overall, with time, creates a great victory. So we are stabilizing in our alternative currencies, our cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, and we are steadily moving in the right direction. The sixes are a lot about moving away from challenge into harmony. And the ones are about our spirit, our creativity. So we're moving towards more creative harmony in our finances and how we work with money and resources. So interesting. I see these two characters both on a horse, one going this way and one going this way. It's like we're doing the outer work, the outer direction, and we're also doing the inner direction or close to home. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have our first major arcana card is this Hermit in the house of Gemini. Yeah. Hermit in the house of Gemini is a lot about having a deep sense of wisdom and maturity and really addressing what's going on in the world from a more educated perspective. Yay. Just tuning in to make sure that my awesome, thank you. I just all of a sudden was like, oh, maybe I'm not being heard, but I can see I am. Okay, so the Hermit is, yes, it's about the wisdom that comes from doing the research. So we have Gemini is a lot about the intelligence. It's about gathering information. And if you look at this Hermit card, this is a person that's taking the time to, review and research. So this could be a week where we dive down the rabbit hole, do a little bit more independent research on different topics that are of unique interest to us. There's so many rabbit holes, isn't that true? And what I've noticed is that if each of us take up the things that we are the most, um, interested in and feel the most called to action, then everything will get covered because we're all a little bit different. So take some time this week to perhaps do a bit more research. There might even be an area that you're very passionate about and you haven't looked at it lately. So we could be going back to the drawing board a little bit this week to do some deeper research. And this is also because it's a wisdom and maturity card, it is indicating it would be ideal to not speak without some deep thought first. So this is not a week to just say whatever comes into your mind. It is a week for really crafting your script, whether that be in personal relationship conversations or in larger political conversations or debates. It feels important to come in with your information and a thoughtful, well-designed sort of communication around that. All right. And here, interesting, in the house of home and family, we also have another. This character is not straying far from home. They are blindfolded and somewhat hemmed in by the narratives that have still some unwinding to do. So, whatever is said at the inauguration, I feel like it's still to some degree somewhat cryptic. And we're going to need to think about what's being presented and, yeah, just kind of go back in and do some more research. Hi, Jean-Claude. Lovely to see you. I'm just going to pop Jean-Claude up here. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of internal processing, contemplation, reviewing what has been said. Things may not make 100% sense outwardly. I think that there's still some, as I was saying, there's still some narratives that are having to be spoken in code. And so we're taking the time to review that and decode things a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now let's go into Leo. Leo is our courage. It is our, I want to say, faith in ourselves and faith in humanity. And we're looking forward with a lot of eager anticipation. This feels to me, this combined with these two fire sign houses, the ego over here with our Knight of Wands, the spiritual warrior, and in Leo, which is our heart, the Three of Wands. A lot of encouragement, a lot of willingness to step out of your comfort zone and maybe even expand your belief system a little bit this week. So that in the heart of the matter, there's a lot of faith in the goodness of our cause, the goodness of our community, the goodness of our own, I want to say, efforts and ingenuity. So it's quite a hopeful card to have in the house of Leo. So you may need to push yourself just a wee bit this week out of your comfort zone, especially around not getting discouraged by the lack of things moving quickly in a positive direction on the day of the inauguration or immediately after. It feels like there is somewhat of a delay, and we need to just keep our sights moving ahead, even 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months down the road, and not go into like kind of shutdown mode is what I'm being shown. Okay, yeah, look at this. The next 3 months, 9 weeks to 3 months, we're going to have to continue to hold the line and really, stick with our values and not get psyched out by what's going on out there, really focusing inward. Yeah. Okay. Right? Tug of Light is saying, woo woo, this week will be transformational, but hold the high vibe from your highest timeline perspective. I mean, this is always good advice. But I think we're starting to see that, even the change that has been long awaited is work. There's a lot to be done. It's not like some magic wand that's waved and everything shifts overnight, although there's so much shifting going on inwardly. And it's important to continue to take stock of that. Now, this is in Virgo, details, habits, daily life. While we are waiting for things to change outwardly, there's some things that we can continue to readjust inwardly. And this takes me almost back to our currencies, working behind the scenes, continuing to develop our portfolios, and there's lots to be done in the background as we're waiting for the larger shift externally. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lakeside Laura. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you, Dottie. Hello. So let's see the next one. What have we got going on in the house of Libra, which is our relationships? It is our also agreements and contracts that we make with other people. Well, look at this. It feels like a lot of focus on good shared agreements or contracts. So this could even be something along the lines, because she's a money queen. Yes, this Queen of Pentacles. She is a lot about sovereign financial freedom, and she is, in a way, she's very, very generous and has a lot to share, but she starts by establishing her own base first. She, works on her her own portfolio financially, and whatever the major currency or the emerging currency is, she has got her finger on that pulse, and she's going to be, filling her own coffers first so that she has the stability down the road to help others. It feels important this week to really think that way about your financial strategies, and also that we will be helping each other. There will be a lot of shared, I want to say, even investing in each other's businesses, in each other's value, and so on. So we can look forward to that. Yeah, Tug of Light is saying marriage and partnership in the 7th house. So on that level, she's the attractor queen. She's the magnetic queen. So there could be an attracting quality to draw partnership towards you that is beneficial, especially partnerships related to, working together and building your lives, your economic, financial freedom. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. And if you're already in a partnered relationship, this is a time to, do the self-care. Look at this. We have the 9 of Wands in Virgo, which is a lot about our health and our habits. And again, the lesson with this Queen of Pentacles is it's not look out for number one, but it is look out for yourself first, so that you have the excess left over to care for others. And we all fall into this trap. Men overextend themselves in certain ways. They try to do too much, burn the candle at both ends, focus on making the money and, building the empires so that their families are not at risk. And women do this in different ways. They overextend themselves by just caring for everyone else's needs and making sure everyone else is, prioritized and putting themselves last. So we all have something to learn this week from this Queen of Pentacles in the house of relationships, which is you're only as good as you are stable and well-resourced and strong and healthy. And if you fail or flail, everyone around you will suffer as a result of that. Yeah. People pleasers die early deaths. It's really hard, isn't it? Someone is saying, Lakeside Laura is saying, Rumble is freezing and my internet. And I was noticing that I had some freezing going on with my internet earlier too. But let me know if anyone else is struggling with that. So far, it looks like things are good to go on my end here. Yes. And learn to say no. Learn to say no, right? It's not a forever no. It's just don't say yes to others before you say yes to yourself. So you can say yes, but you've got to say yes to you first. Yeah. Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo-wee. Wow. I wish Meg were watching. She'd be like, wow, that's in the house of Scorpio. Scorpio is, it's a really big change. It's a house of big change. It's a house of transformation, death and rebirth. And we've got the big change card. So it is some change is taking longer than expected, and some things are happening so fast, aren't they? Like, have you noticed that where we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when the change comes, it's like you blink and you've missed it. It's so rapid, and then other change seems to be taking forever. So, there's going to be continually this week, the fallout, spin out effect, the ripple effect. You see this? This is like the wheel of fortune starts off with the movement starts at the center, and then the concentric rings ripple out from there. So there's a real ripple out effect this week of what happened in the last couple of weeks, particularly with the fires in LA. And this will continue to build momentum. I'm being shown again this timing of the next 3 months. We're going to see a lot of ripple effects, compounding effects of things, just like the energy is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. The momentum, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, the momentum is building. A couple of weeks ago, we had all those eights building momentum. Now we're getting nines, right? We've got 2 9s here and a 10. So things are moving even faster. And some things are hitting the wall. And we're going to see more and more and more narratives hitting the wall over the next 10 weeks, one by one by one. Yeah. So, how do we expansively plan and prepare for what's coming? House of Sagittarius is expansion, it's luck and opportunity, it is spontaneity. Does this look very expansive or spontaneous? Not really, not so much. So your spontaneity and your expansion, you might need to hold on a little bit. Let's just start by saying probably a couple of weeks we're going to be just staying low to the ground, paying close attention to everything. Interesting, we've got 2 blindfolded characters. There's only 2 blindfolded, I believe. Let me just think. I think there's only 2 blindfolded characters in the tarot, and we have 2 of them on this little spread today. So, yeah, interesting that like it could be about taking off the blindfolds for a lot of the sleepers, like slowly, when you take that blindfold off, what happens, right? It's hard to see in the beginning. Everything's so bright and you're overwhelmed. So there's something about just calmly, slowly imagining that we don't want to draw big huge, rip the Band-Aid off, even though we've talked about that. And a lot of us feel anxious to get on with it. It does feel like steady the course. Interesting. Someone was just talking about how it feels like we are, steering a great big cruise ship or something. And yeah, look at this, like turning the wheel of a massive cruise ship, reversing and heading in a new direction. Takes persistence, right? It really, really does. And that you could almost see like we're going down a really rocky channel right now. And so we just can't go too fast. We're turning that wheel, but we can't go too fast or we're going to end up crashing into the sides. Yeah. Right? I love how many of you are speaking your tarot knowledge on the chats. Thank you. MS Kimberly is saying 2 of Swords across from the Hermit, inside job this week. You got it. That is very accurate. It's an inside job this week. And I mean, it always is to some extent, but this week we are being asked to sort of tune inward. So there's all these wands. There's a lot of like spiritual integrity, inner alignment, feeling encouraged by what we see, very hopeful in our hearts. Maybe not so much about events and circumstances and the way they're unfolding, but a lot more about what we see emerging in our community of warriors. Just such amazing strength and courage and wisdom and intelligence and so on. Okay, now I'm just going to take a moment because you noticed, I don't know if some of you came on to the show that I did with Penny Kelly, Intuition Fridays. We're starting that. We just started last Friday, and we're going to be doing this regularly on Fridays, Penny Kelly and myself, and maybe the occasional special guest as well. And, you know, when we're looking at the role of working with inner guidance and coming to our inner still place and sort of finding our peace within, this is going to be such an important part of what we do to help stabilize the outer world in these next few weeks and months. So I just want to bring your attention here for a minute to, this is over on the Beyond Mystic Academy. And look at this. Let's see, I'm going to put that and then add this to the stage. There we go. So opening the psychic senses, part 1. This was with our lovely, it's actually coming up in another week. And it's with our lovely Janine and Meg. Wow. 2 such powerful intuitives, healers, spiritual guides, sharing their wisdom on how to work with opening our psychic senses. And I feel like, you know, so much wisdom comes to us from our divine source through our own intuition. And I always work with the heart chakra, with my own heart, really, you know, basically coming into this grounded, power neutral, heart centered space, which isn't about spiritual bypassing. It's about like grounding into my truest nature. And these 2 women have a lot of great wisdom to share with us. So I'm just so excited that they're doing this class, and there is a 10% discount. You can find the coupon below in the links, and you can find the coupon or the connecting link to register for this live show. It looks like it is going to be, let's have a look here, live workshop January 29th, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's 2 hours of learning to understand what the psychic senses are, how they work, practice exercises to awaken each psychic sense, personal tips, tricks, and expertise, and some deep dives into tarot and astrology and intuitive readings, and why these skills are so crucial for many of us to work with at this time. So I just love this. Thank you so much, ladies, for offering this course on our platform. So we're almost, we're 3/4 of the way through our wheel. And look at this. I was just talking about intuition. And lo and behold, what shows up but our beautiful, I'm just going to move the cards down a bit so you can see. There's our beautiful High Priestess. Let's see if we can get a bit better angle so that you can see the cards. There we go. The High Priestess. So she is, out of all 78 cards, she is the most intuitive character of the tarot. And she basically is at the gateway between our conscious waking mind and our deep subconscious and the superconscious, which connects us with our source. So our soul and source consciousness. The High Priestess basically has tools that she can share with us to learn how to listen. And, people often get anxious about working with intuition. They say, well, I don't want to just open up my psychic channels because anything could come in and then I may be at risk. And this is what we've been taught. Organized religion has taught us to fear opening our psychic channels because we've been taught or programmed that when we do that, dark energies and dark entities can come in. Interestingly, the actual programming about our psychic ability is so based in fear. When we start to do psychic opening, if we come at it from a really fear-based, paranoid place, that low frequency actually does draw darker energy. So it's is it opening your psychic ability that allows darker energy to come in, or is it opening your psychic ability based on the fear that you've been programmed to believe that everything out there or so much, that you're completely vulnerable to these darker, lower frequency energies? It's sort of like, um, for some reason I'm being shown a ski hill and they're saying, you're down below the cloud cover and it looks like a dark, dreary day. But as soon as you come up above the cloud cover, the sun is shining brightly and you're in a totally different level. That's how it is when we work with our psychic intuition. You get yourself into that state, which is really beautifully filled with love and yeah, like it's the honor of doing this work, and from that place you are immune to the darker, lower frequency energies. And if for some reason they do come in, you can feel right away that you're getting thrown off and you can just stop, come back into a grounded, heart-centered space, and you're clear again. So intuition is up at the top of the wheel for all of us this week. This is also, this is the house of Capricorn, which is how you step out into the world, how you're received out in the world, what your life purpose is. So no, no surprise that you're here on a channel called Beyond Mystic, and part of your purpose is to move beyond what we've been taught about mysticism and learn more about your spiritual abilities. So there we go. Spiritual awakening, intuition, even our ancestors come in as the High Priestess, spirit guides, and so on. Now look at that. We also have two twos side by side. So balancing the hemispheres of your brain, the polarities of light and dark, lots of this going on. And we used to always talk about the battle between good and evil, light and dark, as that light had to conquer darkness. But just by its very existence, light banishes darkness. It doesn't have to destroy it. Just by being light, it clears the darkness away. So something to think about this week. And it feels like we're going to be doing perhaps some deep intuitive introspection, hermit, considering what our purpose is and what our spiritual purpose, not just our worldly. We used to look at the House of Capricorn and it was related to finance and money and business and so on. Well, now we see cards like the High Priestess here. This is more than our worldly purpose. This is our spiritual purpose. And we're tuning into that in a bigger way this week. Okay, let's keep going. So here we have the House of Aquarius, which is our community, our friends, our networks, our reputation even. This is a fantastic card. And look at this right across from that Three of Wands here in the House of Leo. Leo and Aquarius are across from each other. They're in opposition in astrology, but they're actually synergistically connected the way we work with the tarot and this zodiac wheel spread. These two support each other, especially if they're well aspected. They're well aspected here. It's the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands. So that what I was saying earlier about feeling inspired by your people and growing your community, one connection at a time. It's so interesting, right? If you think about exponential growth, and I know so many of you feel very isolated and don't have a lot of like-minded friends and networks and so on. However, if you count over the last, say, 3 or 4 years, and you say, well, I started with no one and then I found one person and then, well, now I've got two. But then, of course, those two might each know 2 or 3, and then suddenly your network is slightly expanded, and then those 3 or 4 might know, right? And it just grows and grows. So I think we're going to feel a lot of connection through our community connections, those networks, those natural networks where you're just like, oh, now there's a whole lot of us all of a sudden. I thought I didn't have anyone around me, and suddenly I'm seeing those numbers exponentially growing. Be encouraged by this week. Look for evidence of this in your life. Look at how the numbers seem to be expanding, both in in what we're seeing in the outer world, where, I've talked to clients this week where they're just like, I can't believe what's being said in mainstream, on CNN and mainstream news. Like, things are getting talked about, like pretty radical things are getting talked about. So we just feel this expanding. And again, like we saw here, the ripple effect. And they're saying growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in spirals and in concentric rings, like a ripple effect. So enjoy experiencing that ripple effect and imagining, where could that go in another 2 years or another 4 years or another 10 years? It's pretty great to think like that. Okay, coming into the home stretch here, we've got another wand. Oh, wow. I'm going to count them. Count them with me. 1. So we've got the Knight of Wands, 1, 6 of Wands, 2, 3 of Wands, 3, 9 of Wands, 4, and the 4 of Wands, 5, and the 7 of Wands, 6. 6 wands in total in this little spread of 12 cards. That's half the cards are wands. So wands are energy. They are creativity. They are really magical. They're like the chi, the life force energy, and spirit. They're also representing the element of fire. And we've seen this raging fire, which is destructive, but it is also cleared away a lot of the shadow material, brought things to the forefront, the phoenix rising from the ashes, new possibilities. So a lot of fiery energy, a lot of spirit energy, but let's see it contained and gradually rippling out as opposed to being super destructive. Fortunately, we don't have a tower at the wheel, but let's drum roll and see what's in the middle. Oh, great. I'm so glad not to see another tower in the middle there. So 3 of Pentacles is rebuilding. There's already rebuilding taking place, new foundations being laid. Now, metaphorically, what rebuilding looks like when people are no longer held to that old power dominant system of dog eat dog, us versus them. People are starting to want to collaborate and work together. If crisis is bringing people together, we've got global circumstances, the pressure, we're all feeling it. So we're all feeling inspired to step out of the comfort of the predictable old way into something that's a little bit more creative, all that creative wand energy, and a new kind of stability that's flexible. So if you know the tarot, you know that the 3 of Pentacles is like a stable, 3-legged stool. There's stability, but it's the energy of this arch shape, which is strong, but also flexible. So we're looking at building, rebuilding in a new way, which has to do with win-win-win, strength through flexibility. Yeah. So just going to jump over to comments here and see how everybody's doing. Yep. All right. Yeah, 7 of Wands, valor, uniqueness, holding the line, right? Thank you. Value, uniqueness, and holding the line. We see that all across this whole spread because of all those wands. We see the nature of that creative energy coming together, all that creativity, all that fire, and all that passion. And the High Priestess at the top, almost guiding us from between the dimensions. So we're getting a lot of spiritual guidance, a lot of guidance from our ancestors, our individual guides and our collective guides. Thank you, Lupo. Much appreciated. Yeah, Lakeside Laura's saying there would be no ripples without a thrown stone. A stone has to be thrown first. And so we've seen some stones be thrown these last couple of weeks. Yeah. Yep. Building new community because many people have fallen away and many new ones are coming together. Yay. So lovely. Well, I'm going to just sign off here in a few minutes and we'll take a moment to go back over and check out what is on offer here. Of course, you can find us. I'm just going to open this up. There we go. Find us here, the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Or you can follow us over on Rumble, Beyond Mystic Rumble channel. And you can find me right here on the Beyond Mystic consultations page. There's a link below and you can access the coupon code on the banner below and receive a 10% discount. So I wish you all many blessings this week. Have a lovely week. And I'm really grateful that this week looks a lot gentler than last week did. And I feel like we're out of the woods, so to speak, for now. And just remember that if things don't appear at the inauguration like everything's moving in fast, rapid fashion towards the outcomes that we were hoping for. Just hold that thought, because I think things will become clear over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and definitely over the next 2 or 3 months. Have a beautiful week, everyone. I wish you all blessings, and I look forward to seeing you here again with Meg on Tuesday at the As Above, So Below show, and again with Penny Kelly on Friday, Intuitive Fridays.